What's up, guys? It's EmiNES back again with another video. Today we're finally talking about Bioshock 1 today. I've got the PS3 games that I originally played there from back in the day, from 2014. So in honor of that, and in honor of Halloween, would you kindly press that subscribe button and join us here on our journey of Bioshock throughout the month? I said would you kindly, so you have to do it. Alright, so we're talking about Bioshock today. Bioshock was a game that my friends had all played, and I played after they all kind of recommended it to me. Actually, it was because of this girl that I was on with back then, and I wanted to be her friend, and obviously I was crushing on her pretty hard. This girl, Allison, and she was super into Bioshock, and she kind of was the straw that broke the camel's back on the Bioshock thing there. So after she was like, you have to play these games, they're so good and they're some of my favorite games, and I'm like, okay, my friends have talked about them, Allison's talked about them, I kind of have to play them now, right? So I did. I played the Bioshock games, and I started with 1, and obviously I went to Infinite. I remember at the time, I was in college, and I always wanted a reason to procrastinate, and this was definitely one of the games series that got me to do so. I remember specifically with Bioshock Infinite, there was some kind of writing thing I wanted to do or something for one of my classes, and I I just couldn't do it because I wanted to play Bioshock Infinite. I just wanted to finish it or whatever. So, I remember on my first run too, I harvested all of the little sisters. Spoilers for Bioshock, by the way, in case you haven't played it. Please go play it. It's a great game. If you want my just short, in and out review, it's a great game. It's definitely going to get a high rating from me. If not a 10, it's going to be like a 9 something. We'll see how I feel by the end of the video, but definitely a pretty top tier game. I think the first one is kind of my favorite. It kind of goes 1, Infinite, and then 2. And we'll discuss why that is here down the line, but I feel like the first one is just special. It's the first time we ever got to go into this world. I know there was the System Shock games, but I never played any of those, and I'm gonna be willing to guess that most people didn't play any of those. I'm sure they were pretty popular for their time, but I remember Bioshock really took off. This was a big deal, at the time, and I didn't play it when it came out or whatever. Obviously I played it later after all of the games were out. Shockingly enough, this is all of the games right here. There's only 3 of them. And they released a bunch of DLC and stuff, and I didn't play any of that. But, I've heard mixed things about that anyway, and I don't really think I'm going to play that anytime soon. Maybe I'll do that for a Emmy DLC, down in the future. I've done it for a couple of things, like the Pokemon DLCs and stuff, which... Also, you're probably wondering, hey, Emily, where's your Pokemon review of the DLCs? I'm fucking pissed off about that shit still, we talked about that in the Pokemon videos and stuff, I'm just burnt out on Pokemon. Ironically enough, when I'm wearing a Pokemon shirt with Eevee and all that, but... No, maybe down the line at some point. I'm not very interested in doing it right away or anything, and I heard mixed things about it anyway, so... Well, why play it now? I should wait, right? Until the other one comes out, I guess, and I'll just play them together. That'll be better. If I play them at all. We'll see. I still love Pokemon. But we're not talking about Pokemon. We're talking about Bioshock. I need to talk about Bioshock and not about Pokemon. Yeah, Bioshock. Really interesting. I don't know what this artwork on these little sisters is. That is not what they look like at all. Look at that shit. I mean, that's kind of what they look like, but look at that face. It's, so different to the thing. And this, drill guy only shows up, once at the very end of the game. It's, very inconsequential. You think that they would have the rivet gun in that picture, but I don't know, the drill looked cooler, I'm sure, so... They probably just put him in that one part at the very end of the game just to, Oh, see, we put him in the game. He's on the cover, so he's got to be in the game, right? So, like, yeah. Um, anyway, though, but I really like Bioshock, obviously. God, how did this devolve into me just talking about all my crushes and girls and whatever? Uh, so another personal story about Bioshock was later on, much later. I think like 2016 it was. I was just getting over a heartbreak from a different person, and then there was this girl, and we went out like twice maybe, uh, but the whole thing was she was like obsessed with Harry Potter. Like that was her whole personality trait. Other than that, she had no personality traits. So anybody who knows me and knows things, they know me talk about Harry Potter girl before. One of the notable things that we did though was on our, I guess, second and last date. We played most of, or like half of Bioshock. We got to the part where we're at like the market or whatever that is, like that part. I think we got a little bit past that, but yeah, I just remember that notably something. I like to get people who aren't into video games, obviously, because that's a big part of my life. And at the time, I'm like, well, Bioshock, it's a pretty beloved game. You know, it's pretty simple to get into, to understand. I guess beginner friendly. She seemed to pick it up pretty well. I did play a lot of it myself, but she was interested in watching it. But yeah, I that whole relationship didn't go on very long. We just kind of weren't as compatible as I had probably hoped at the time. But Bioshock was one thing we had in common because of me. So anyway, no stories about my past with Bioshock and the many women that apparently are connected to this game that I didn't keep remembering until just this moment. So, but yeah, I harvested all the little sisters the first time around, and I remember in my review I talked about that. It was a written review. I did Facebook reviews back then. Now I do video reviews. Took me long enough to get back to it. It's only 2023, you know. Um, Gosh, like 9 years later. So anyway, so when I did my written review, I mentioned that, and then I texted or I messaged. We were on some site or something. This Allison girl. I mean, I knew her from college, but like there was some other site that wasn't Facebook that we shared together. And I messaged her on there, and then like I gave her like a review of Bioshock to show that I'd played the game, and so we could talk about it and whatever. And she's like, "Oh, you shouldn't have harvested all the little sisters. That's pretty harsh." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." So when I played Bioshock 2, I didn't harvest all the little sisters. I saved them all, or whatever. So, but anyway, this time I saved them all because that's probably the right thing to do. And also, I don't know if I got it, but you're supposed to get a bonus for saving them or something at some point, like near the end of the game. I remember the lady gives it to you or something. I don't remember. Although I don't know if I've ever gone back and like saved all the little sisters, you know, throughout the run. I did get the achievement for saving them all this time around, but I don't know. Anyway, I mean, there's not like a whole ton to say about Bioshock. It's just a really good shooter game. It kind of feels like Skyrim in a sense, except you can't like, I don't, can you dual wield in Skyrim? I can't remember. I think you can. You know how you would have like the healing in one hand and like the weapon in the other, and then you would just kind of, that's kind of what it's like. You have like your magic, your plasmids is what it is in one hand. So you have like fire ones, you can do like electricity, you can like, you have different like little like ball things that like control enemies and robots and stuff. Um, Stuff like that. You have one that like just like shoots bees, basically. Stupid stuff like that. An ice one. There's all sorts of them. You can purchase these from upgrade shops. The yeah, So that shop that has those also has the health and Eve upgrades. Eve is like your magic, like meter points and whatnot, like bar, I guess it is. It's not really points. It's like a bar, but you can upgrade that to be able to carry more of that, and you have like different upgrade slots. You have like I think 5 or 6 of each of them that you can use. So you can use 5 or 6 different plasmid powers, and then there's like one for hacking stuff, one for combat stuff, one for I don't know, just like a bunch of different ones. So you would have like there's a hacking thing in this game where like if there's like robots and like security cameras and stuff all over the place and like safes and stuff. There's this little like pipe mini game where you have to like let the flow of the water get to the other side or whatever. That was the part of the game where Harry Potter girl excelled really well at was that part. So I would always have her do those ones because she was faster at it than I was. Anyway, so there's that. But you also have a device that can auto hack that, which you can buy from the one of the stores has that where you can buy that. There's also a invent store where you pick a bunch of materials up from all the enemies and whatever, and it'll let you build ammo, like special ammo, and like I think those hacking unit things like I was talking about, the automatic hack ones, stuff like that. There's like a story related one in there too where you like build a antidote to this like poison that's there. You know, the antidote to the poison you just drank. Gosh, so stupid. Anyway, yeah, so there's that. The hacking game, and then if you like hack the bots and stuff, like the little flying robot things, they actually like follow you, and you can they can like kill enemies and stuff for you. It's nice. So there's cool aspects to the game like that. It's a really full kind of shooter with a lot of different things. You know, so like obviously you have the plasmid stuff, but you also have a bunch of weapons. You have like a machine gun. You have like a grenade gun. You have like a pistol. Obviously, you have a wrench for melee combat. You have like a shotgun, and each of these has like different things. So like the shotgun has like 3 different elemental rounds. It has like an electricity one. It has like a flame or exploding one, I believe, and then it just has like a regular one. And then there's like you have like a flamethrower that also shoots like ice and like nitrogen, and then like the other thing too that's on there. Lots of different little ammos for each one, so you can really diversify your weapons and whatnot. So that's nice. So there's a lot of different variation to the playing style. And I guess the game kind of encourages you to switch through your weapons. At least I had to, because I would always be running out of ammo on certain weapons, so I'd have to switch the ones that I wasn't using as often. You do get money from enemies to buy at these stations, so you also have like an ammo station, and then there's like the clown one, like welcome to the circus of values, all that kind of stuff. And then there's like the Old West one, which is like also an ammo one. They have like health stations around. You have like health packs that you can I think you hit, what is it, square or something to use those, and you have like 9 of them you can carry, I guess, if you play the easy mode. I don't know if that's like more restricted than the other modes. I had 9. But if you run out of health, you just die, and then you go back to the last Vita chamber that you were at. So there's like these checkpoints throughout each level, these chambers that you'll just like respawn at, basically. But you'll still have like all your stuff that you like picked up and whatever, so that's kind of nice. I will say, and it's not a fault of the game or anything, maybe actually, I don't know. It might be because of this version. This is what I played this time around, is the enhanced. I don't know if it's enhanced. It's a remastered, they call it, I guess, version of Bioshock there. When I got through Fort Frolic, though, which is like this area where you have to go to a bunch of different littler areas and you have to like take these pictures of these corpses and stuff. I know that sounds pretty dark. I mean, but the game does get a little dark like that at sometimes. It is rated M for mature, so it's got that horror vibe about it, and that's kind of why I'm doing it now. I mean, I don't really subscribe to the whole Halloween thing, but I've always been pretty accurate on this channel about doing horror games around Halloween. So I figure we'll keep the tradition going, you know? This year I am getting more into the Halloween spirit too, so that's something, you know. We'll let it pass. We'll let it go this time. So it's really horror movies that I'm burned out on, ironically enough, because I know I did some for the channel, you know, but anyway. We're let's see. What was I gonna say? What were we talking about? I don't know. So the weapon variety, the plasmid variety is all really good. All those little badge upgrade things are good for that. I mean, that's fun. You know, all that adds a lot of depth to the game. And then anytime you see a Big Daddy, which are like the big dudes on the cover, they have like a little sister with them a lot of times. But if they don't, there's these holes everywhere that like they'll go up and they'll knock on it with their wrench and a little sister will come out. It'll tell you on your, like, one of the pause screens how many little sisters for the level that you have left to find. So like there'll be either one icon or the other based on if you found them or not. And if you like miss them or whatever, as long as there's a Big Daddy like patrolling the area and he goes and knocks on one of those holes, if you missed one, they'll come out of the hole and then you can fight them there. So that's nice. But also, if you find them throughout the level, which I'm pretty convinced that that's not always a thing, that they're like just at a certain point or time in the level. Maybe they are. I don't know. I mean, a lot of times they are. They're like planned to be at this spot in the level, at this point in the level, so tracking them down. But, you know, sometimes you have to just wait for a Big Daddy to go and get one out of the hole, and then you fight him. So anyway, there's this whole mechanic, like I mentioned earlier, and they teach you this earlier in the game. They teach you everything earlier in the game, where you either can harvest them, so you get an amount of Atom like right away that's like more Atom, like right out of the bat. Atom is like the currency that you use to upgrade your plasmids and stuff. Or you can save them and they'll go back to this Lady Tannenbaum, I believe, who, like, later on in the game it kind of affects that you get less Atom out straight, like out of the, like right away, but also after every few that you save, you get some Atom and like a teddy bear, like along with some ammo and stuff. So it's kind of worth it to save them. It does like affect the ending at the end as well. If you harvest them all, you get like a bad ending, and if you save them, you get a better ending where they all like are there throughout your life and they're like your family and stuff outside of here and all that kind of jazz. So that's nice, you know. You gave them a life beyond just being these like Splicer-esque characters that are just out there hunting for Atom all the time, you know. So yeah, did I get at all the mechanics? I mean, I'm sure I forgot some things there. Oh, there's like well, okay, I guess this is like a nice transition into the story related aspects and whatnot. There's a nice sense of there's collectibles all throughout the level. There's actually audio commentaries too, but I only found like one of those because it was like right next to a story related thing that I had to do. But anyway, so yeah, there's these like audio logs throughout the game, and I think a lot of games did this kind of after Bioshock, but you pick them up, and if you hold X, you can like immediately listen to them as you're going along. You don't have to like go into a menu and listen to them like you wouldn't have to like Peace Walker or like Metal Gear Solid 5 or something. You know, you think by that point they would have figured it out. Like, they would have got it to the point where you could do it like Bioshock and just listen to them out in the world there. Especially Metal Gear Solid 5, because you have an iPod or whatever that is, like, that you can just, like, listen to stuff out there in the world anyway. You just listen to whatever song you want, so why can't you listen to the audio stuff while you're out there? I don't know. Maybe you could do that in that game. I don't remember. Anyway, the point is, this game had a good system of you could listen to them while you were still playing the game. You didn't have to pause and then like go to a whole other menu to just to mess with that and listen to that and waste more time. It's like very snappy. It's like there while you're playing the game. Now, you can't always listen to what they're saying, and that's a little bit of a problem with the story stuff too, is if, you know, there's all this guns and violence and stuff, you can't just stand around when like all the enemies are coming after you and stuff, and like, but they constantly talk at you, like, no matter where you're at, like, basically there's lots of little things to further the story and the characters and whatnot, like all around the corners of everywhere. So, but the game doesn't take you out of it to like pause you and make you watch a scene outside of like a couple times when they're really trying to make like a point about it. And I like those. I like those little audio logs. They fill out the world and the lore of the area better and stuff. It just works, you know. It works really well, and so I like that. I like the story and stuff too. I'm not gonna like get into everything about it because like I'm sure there's way more that I would miss than is necessary. But really, what you need to know is there's three really important characters. There's Andrew Ryan. There's Frank Fontaine, and then there's the Tannenbaum lady. And she's kind of against both of them. She's the one that's like saving the little sisters and all of that. And then there's Andrew Ryan, who's like, I think like the creator of Rapture, which is the city that you're in. It's like this underwater city, which is cool. So it has like a really unique vibe to it. It's like a underwater like 50s sort of city vibe. It's really interesting, you know. It's got like a charm to that. I like that too. I like the setting and the vibe to it. But anyway, so this Andrew Ryan guy, he's like constantly antagonizing you the whole time, and you start off with this other guy, Atlas, who's talking to you a lot throughout the game, who you end up finding out later after you kill Andrew Ryan is Frank Fontaine, who's actually the final boss of the game and is kind of the real antagonist of the whole thing. But they can control you through saying the phrase, "Would you kindly?" Basically, it's like a trigger phrase for you. So if they say that, you kind of have to do whatever that thing is. And then there's like a whole weird part later where like he has control. He doesn't have control of you with that aspect, but he has control of like your body. So like your plasmids keep switching through, and you get plasmids you don't even like have and stuff. And it's like, it's really annoying because it's like every 5 seconds it like switches you to your plasmid instead of whatever friggin' gun you're using or whatever. It's just, it's a whole thing. I mean, it's only a small part of the game, but it's just like, come on, that is really annoying. I mean, if it had just been like a few minutes for like story reasons, like, okay, cool, but like, no, it goes on for a little long, so I mean, it is what it is. But yeah, there's a whole thing in there. I'm not gonna get into every little detail. That's like the base bare bones like summary there, and the world really gets filled out by you going through it, and the characters talking about the world, and those audio logs, like I said, and just like everything about it is cool, and there's a lot of good exploratory elements to each level. I feel like some more than others, but I don't want to say they're like open because they're still linear in a sense, but there's a lot of times there's branching paths and you can kind of go off and explore a little bit. And if you like find the right secrets, or there's certain doors and stuff that have like codes on them, you can like hack them, or if you know the code, you can unlock it. I'm sure a lot of that is in the audio logs and stuff that like I missed. I just looked them up on the internet because, you know, you could do that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think that's really the extent of it. It's just a great game. The setting is great. Is this even still going? That's it, huh? That's all your Bioshock soundtrack is 12 tracks? That's not fair. Oh, 44 tracks unavailable. Gee, I wonder why. Yeah, okay. I mean, I don't think it's any shock to say that I like Bioshock. I think it's a great game. I think it's just a solid and fun game to begin with. Everyone loves Bioshock, right? Is there anybody out there who, like, really doesn't like Bioshock? Like, it was a big deal back then. It was like this 10 out of 10 masterpiece game that everyone held up on a pedestal. Like, I wonder if people still feel that way about Bioshock. I think it still holds up really well. I mean, it's still great. I don't see why it wouldn't still get all that praise. It's just, people have a weird way of switching things over time, so yeah, I don't know. Overall, it's a great game. It's got great setting, great mechanics, lots of upgrades, lots of like things to find all over the place. That's nice. Exploratory elements. You have like, you have like a good story, good music and stuff. Like everything about it is just like really good. Yeah. So overall, it's a fun, enjoyable experience. It's a great game. I recommend it to anybody who wants just like a really good game to play, I guess. I don't know. It's gotta be like one of those games that they put on one of those lists of like, here's the top 100 games you need to play before you die kind of thing. Like, it's definitely one of those, and the sequels fare pretty well. I mean, just to sum it up, like Bioshock 2 is more of the same, really, but there's like some different stuff that makes it kind of like not as good as Bioshock. It's not even that it's not as good, it's just like it's more of the same, but it's not as classic because it wasn't the first time that they did it. It's classic sequel problems, And then Bioshock Infinite kind of took a new direction, and a lot of people like that, a lot of people don't like that, so, we'll talk about that. I think they're both good games. I mean, last I played anyway, so we'll see how I feel in the future about that coming up here in the next few weeks, so yeah, until next time, stick around, subscribe. Would you kindly hit that subscribe button, and would you kindly like the video and all that jazz? And I'll see you in the next one. Emily, out.